Welcome to 5 Stripe Weekly, everyone. 3 points on the road, undefeated Orlando City Stadium. That is music to our ears. We break down that tasty win and more coming up.
Welcome to the show, 5 Stripe fam. I'm AJ. This is Tanner McLeod. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button. So let's get into our beautiful win against those kitties. We're all buzzing this week, and I've got that Ice Cube "Today Was a Good Day" song in my head. If you're a youngin', just look that up because it's very appropriate. But Tanner, what were your thoughts on the match, man?
It was a good game. It was a good game against a team that had been playing very well. Had won 6 on the bounce, so you got to give them credit for that. Could have been more clinical. Didn't know what the goalkeeping situation was going to be going into it. Yeah. Can ends up getting the start, and then Hildebrandt on the bench. So that's at least good to see that there's that depth there. You know, and I thought that it could have been, you know, again, more clinical in front of goal. That game could have been over at halftime. Could have been 3-4-0. Then again, when you're picking up wins on the road, when you equal your win total on the road in May of last, you know, it's right. I really can't complain, honestly.
Yeah, no, we're 30% into our season, and we already have 4 road wins. That's, you know, as many as last year. That's really, really good. Made this, you know, away form continue. But, yeah, I mean, let's talk about the goals that we scored, though. I mean, we weren't clinical, but we, you know, we did enough to get that win in a very hostile situation. But, yeah, the first goal, you know, it's a penalty won from a Miggy pass into the box. Garza's in there. He gets fouled.
He gets clotheslined.
Yeah, he gets clotheslined or like a rake to the face. Yeah, whichever. But, you know, Orlando fans are salty over it being soft. But, you know.
I mean, if you get clotheslined, if your guy got clotheslined in the box by, say, LGP, you'd want LGP sent off. Yeah, so sure. Just get used to it. It was a penalty. Soft penalty. Get rid of the word soft. Still a penalty. And Joseph steps up with his typically weird run-up and absolutely bears it into the corner.
Yeah, but in this incident, yeah, there is a very strange thing that's happening. So we'll play it back, and in the crowd, if you look very closely, there is a person trying to distract Joseph. And, wow, I mean...
By pulling up their shirt.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he didn't even notice, to be honest. He was more concerned about putting the ball in the back of the net.
Right. I think he was giving Joe Bendick the eyes versus the fan.
But the thing is, it's funny. I think Orlando fans must really love him because they threw a rose at him.
Oh, yeah, no. For his goal that he scored, you know, of course, this harkens back to the Valentine's Day photo that he took on MLS Day. Media Day rather, and yeah, it was very it was very sweet of Orlando fans. Yeah, you know.
Usually you throw roses to people you love. Just saying.
It's true.
Also, they
threw for a great performance.
Also, they threw beer cups. Well, one of them, and it missed. Yeah. They'll get back to that later. Their aim not very good.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, in this whole sequence, it's very comical. I mean, there's so much to unpack in this game, but that's just one of many. But, yeah, and then, so our second goal is a fantastic one, I feel like. It's, you know, great little build-up play.
Great ball from Miggy into Barco, out to Garza, back into, well, it could have been either Miggy or Barco.
They're in the same spot, yeah.
Yeah, first time. It's brilliant that, you know, that Miggy sees that and pulls off, and then just another one-time finish from Barco, outside of the boot, off the underside of the crossbar, again. Nasty. No chance to the keeper, and somehow it's not nominated for goal of the week.
Yeah, you know, definitely snubbed. You know, I think we know what MLS is doing here.
They know it would have won.
Yeah, I mean, we're the master of the polls. You know, no poll is safe. And what we do is, you know, we win every single one of these goals of the weeks that we're nominated for. So, you know, I understand, but does it make it not worthy of being nominated? I mean, it absolutely should be nominated, and I feel like it's even better than the one that he actually won last week.
I mean, you got to think both of the goals that he scored, left foot, you know, caressing it around the keeper, and an absolute blast to the outside of his right. I mean, neither have been a tap-in, simple crap goal. They've been really good goals from a player you expect to see that from, and that's 2 in a week. You see him growing in confidence, and, you know, he took a little bit of a knock later in the game, which I think it contributed a bit to him coming off. But then again, when you have a guy like Tito Villalba to come on, man, I mean, and the commentators were talking about that the whole time, how deep this team is and how almost every other MLS team would beg to have Tito in their starting 11.
For sure.
You know, I know Orlando wishes that he would be, especially after last season. But, you know, I mean, I think this game was very interesting. The second half was a bit more dicey, I guess you could say. The team maybe wasn't as confident, or maybe took their their foot off the gas a little bit. I wish they could have scored a couple more goals. I think it could have easily been 3-0 at halftime. That would have had it, done and dusted. But really, Orlando's only goal came off of 2 individual mistakes made back to back. Can doesn't do very well with the original shot, kind of palms it right back out, and Miles Robinson makes a poor attempt to tackle it. And that happens with 2 players that don't play all the time. But that was the only way that Orlando scored. The rest of them were either soft shots on target, or attempts from range that weren't really going anywhere, or trying to dive horribly and get crap penalties.
Right. And I think it's, the microcosm of their desperation in this match. I think you definitely saw, they were complaining from nearly like minute 1 about every ref call. And so, like with that going on, it culminates into this like already testy situation. But they were on a 6-game winning streak, and so where's the confidence? Where's the
the swagger?
The swagger.
You didn't see it from the fans or from the players that they expected to win. And I think Atlanta United were incredibly professional in their performance and how they got things done. And I think trying to blame the ref for anything is poor. Obviously, if Atlanta had been on the losing result, I try to be at least smart with my critique of the game. I mean, if you want to go back and watch my fan cam from this past week, I was irritated, but I'm not going to be throwing all my toys out the pram because the ref got every decision wrong, even when sometimes they don't. The penalty was a penalty. I mean, if anything, Atlanta United fans should complain because Tito got a yellow card for standing there and getting pushed in the throat, basically.
That was definitely placating the fans. Like the ref knew that if he had only given Yotun a card and Villalba didn't get a card, then they would have. I mean, they'd have raised hell, and he probably wouldn't have made it out of the stadium.
Genuinely, I don't know. I thought the ref was actually decent. I thought he was a lot better than the Sporting KC ref, which I think Atlanta United fans actually had something to gripe about in that game. So
you saw national media confused
about an offside goal. There's nothing from this game. If anything, it's the exact opposite, where the national media are making fun of Orlando because of how bad that dive was. I mean, the fact
Will Johnson, boy,
honestly, he could have gotten sent off if he would have been booked for diving, which in my opinion he should have been. And then because of his descent, he could have seen a second yellow.
Because he was on a card already,
so it's like
exactly.
that could have happened. So if anything, the ref has nothing to do with why Orlando lost. Orlando lost because they weren't very good. I mean, that's the end of it. Is they weren't very good, and Atlanta United were stellar in the first half. They didn't know what to do with Atlanta United. They allowed Atlanta to run at them, and clearly they didn't watch any of the games of how to beat Atlanta by doing whatever Chicago didn't do. I mean, I thought they were poor, and then at the end of the game, you just see the fans throwing all their toys out. Again, throwing all their beer bottles, their water bottles, all their stuff, because we lost a game. And honestly, the best part about it is I was nervous about the last 2 minutes. And Orlando City fans helped United waste time by stopping play because they threw all the crap on the field because they didn't understand why a call was made, because I guess they're just uneducated about the game.
Yeah, it very well could be. I mean, their main argument against us, as you guys may know, is that they have history. Honestly,
I saw a tweet this week, and it was talking about this rivalry and how Orlando City fans hate Atlanta so much. And the other part of the meme was, I don't even think about you. And I think that's fair because we very rarely talk about Orlando on this podcast. We maybe mention them about how they have a winning streak, how they're doing well in the table briefly. I very rarely will complain about Orlando or talk about the rivalry. It just comes down to, I dislike whatever team we played last. That's just how it goes. That's who we played. I'm going to complain about them. But Orlando has been very, very keen on pissing off Atlanta United supporters this week. And I think they've just done a really poor job of doing it, from tweeting out a fake, really poorly photoshopped billboard to
that they were confused about,
to coming up with any measure or any argument against Atlanta United that they can just come up with off the top of their head.
Everything's nonsensical, man.
It's just nonsensical. And it's like, please, look, I get that you're upset for reasons I don't know. Your team's just not as good, I guess, but like,
they're just upset at not having
nice things. I don't know. Learn the game. You have a decent stadium. You have the potential to be a good fan base, but stop acting like jackasses and actually like learn what you're doing, support your team. I got really pissed off, and I said it in a fan cam, when Atlanta United fans were throwing shit on the field after they lost to Minnesota last year. It's not classy. It's stupid. And no one likes that. And another thing that's really interesting, and it's really funny, we'll actually put some of these quotes onto the video here, from Orlando City fans commenting on a fan cam from last season, talking about how they love violence. I hate to break it to you guys, but pseudo-hooliganism's stupid. I complained about it when Atlanta United fans were trying to have this attempt at hooliganism. There's a reason it's not happening in the major European countries anymore. It's stupid. People get hurt. There is actually a comment where people will encourage violence. An Orlando City fan. And it's like, why? Is violence really all you have to cling to? Or is conflict all you have to cling to as a fan base with another fan base? Because in my opinion, the best thing about soccer is when you go to another stadium, you support either the home team, the away team, I don't care. There's a brilliant environment. Your banter happens in the songs towards each team and how the team plays on the field, and you can have it on Twitter afterwards. But to throw shit at players on the field after you've lost, congrats, you played yourself. The Orlando City police were having, there's a bit of a video that you may or may not have seen online. They were kind of a bit rough with Atlanta United fans. Some of the Atlanta United fans did not cover themselves in glory. I will say that much. But at the same time, there has to be a way that there can be, you know, away fans at games. And I think maybe MLS wasn't ready for it. Maybe Orlando wasn't ready for it. Hopefully Atlanta United have seen this and learned. There is a reason why fans are separated in England, so that fights don't happen and there's no hooliganism and people can just enjoy the game. It was a good game in my opinion. And it's marred by all this stupid controversy from fans just being dumb afterwards. So, you know, maybe Orlando and Atlanta can be a rivalry. But right now, there's a whole lot of stupid that makes it just another match and not a rivalry.
And it's also this, it's not a rivalry if the other team hasn't won.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you know, they haven't won a game throughout this entire
Didn't make the playoffs
matchup
yet, fun fact. If you want to talk about history, Atlanta has. So in regards to the current teams playing, there's more history in Atlanta. Yeah. So make a playoff game.
Their argument is that, you know, we have the same amount of playoff wins, but it's, you know, there is joy. Yeah, there's joy in making the playoffs. So,
and I think they're gonna. You know, here's the thing. Maybe Orlando gets into the playoffs this year, and then you can come to a stadium that's gonna have. You know, they'll see it when they play in Atlanta. You know, this season because they're gonna play in front of 70,000 again. But you'll see it's a fan base that mostly knows what it's doing. We're gonna be loud. We're gonna be proud, and we're gonna be supporting our team on the field, not hating the team that they're playing just because they're a team that we're supposed to hate. We're going to be hating that team because they're unfortunately going to be an obstacle in the way to an MLS Cup, as opposed to, you know, another match in May.
Right. I think we've said it before, like, a rival team to us is more so like a DC United.
Yeah, they've beaten us 3 times, and it pisses me off every single time.
Yeah, when we think of, and when we hear the you know, name DC United, that actually riles us up. Like,
that's a team that really gets me going.
Right. But when I hear Orlando City, I just laugh. Like, I actually don't. There's no like hatred.
There's no hatred. It's genuine. If anything, it's the worst thing at all, and it's just pity because you just don't know what you're doing, and you look stupid doing it.
Yeah. And so Tata also had something to say on this rivalry that we have with Orlando City. He said, "Just with time, with more years, even this league is new. So I think just because there's 2 teams that are close in geography doesn't necessarily make it a rivalry. But I think over the course of time, this could turn into a rivalry, and I think it will."
Well, I can tell you one thing. You know what makes rivalries better? Will Johnson memes!
Oh yeah,
everybody.
Yeah,
they are coming in hot.
And I don't think they'll end anytime soon.
I really don't want them to. Yeah. His face, he looks like, how can he be so convinced that he just got wronged when he dove, which means he has to know that he dove, which means he just looks like an absolute dickhead. Which he does when you look at his head, it's shaved and round, and people have made great memes out of it because he is a bellend, and he dove, and he shit just like Orlando.
And he looks like a petulant child, I think.
He really does. I genuinely think he's about to cry at the end. I did! Like, come on, bro, do better. Like our meme people who are making great memes at your expense because you're a Muppet. Stop diving, dickhead.
So guys, there were some other things that happened in the match. It wasn't just the outside noise that
we'll digress a bit.
Yeah.
Back to your regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, definitely. But I thought the back line was beast, and they really did everything that we needed to, except for the goal that we conceded. We had an enormous amount of clearances. Michael Parkhurst was
flipping everywhere.
Yeah, he was killer. He had a killer game, and he was making interceptions, clearances, tackles. He was carrying the ball into midfield at points. And Garza had a great match with also with the assist to Barco. That was
and drawing the penalty.
Yeah, and drawing the penalty. Man, yeah, he had a hell of a match as well. LGP was great. Miles Robinson again.
That mistake aside was very, very good.
Yeah, he's been a big part of our back line in our probably, I would say, two of our most impressive wins this season. The other one being 5-0 against LAFC at home. And he's hasn't played a ton, and for him to already be showing really, really good signs, what we expected from him from the Super Draft when we drafted him last year, yeah, he's progressing very nicely, and I think that's because of that ATL UTD 2 play that, he's getting more match fitness that is crucial in his development.
Yeah, well, Tata even talked about how he has complete faith in Miles Robinson. Just the problem for him is that McCann and Escobar are in front of him, and they're better. Like, they're playing better. And I think Miles Robinson can absolutely develop into a starting center back for this team. It's just right now you have two players who have, unfortunately, like I said, just been playing and been giving you more options than what he does right now.
Right.
But again, he's been crucial in two of those games. He's improving constantly, and I think we'll see more of him in the future for sure.
Right. And let's also get to our midfield play. I thought Darlington Nagbe was bossing the game.
He's genuinely playing some of the best football of his career.
Yeah,
right? I think that maybe the numbers, assist-wise and goals-wise, aren't what people would think.
Yeah.
The work he is doing in midfield is absolutely astounding. You can't get him off the ball.
Right, and that's also not even to say his final ball is just incredible. I mean, he's making that essentially MLS pre-assist. And he's doing it so well, and you can see he's just a big part of every single play, and he's tracking back. He's doing a lot more defensive work than we thought he would do, and he's doing it safely. He's not getting yellow cards, and he's not sliding in rashly. It's he's been so stout, and and that's not even to talk about Lorenowitz, who's been he's just
a rock in between that midfield and that defense. He's just a rock.
Yeah.
And at his age, to be getting up and down like he's doing, I mean, and he took a really tough tackle at the end of that game. I mean, he's just a boss. I can't really put into words just how impressed I am with this team right now. How well they're playing on the road. How what's actually incredible, do you know their points per game on the road is more than at home right now?
Yeah, that's insane. It is an insane thing. So yeah, what, like 2.4 on the road and 2.2 at home. That's wow. I mean, you would have thought that at home we're just 3
points every game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and there might be a little bit of skew because of that Sporting KC game, but I mean, still, it's just that shows how good of a form. Is it sustainable? Maybe not on the road, but I think if Tata's able to figure out how to play teams so well like this, and he's able to sustain that, then absolutely, that's a pace that's like the Toronto FC of last year type of pace, and if that is, that is
well, we saw what happened with them in the MLS Cup. They won the damn thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can keep that pace up. But I mean, they just improved so much, and you see that improvement from last year to this year. And you got to give so much credit to Tata as a manager, because he's bringing out the best in these players, and they bought into what he's doing. And tactically, he's just putting on a masterclass. Every head coach he comes up against, he's going to outcoach them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that the other team can do about that. And when you have that with the players playing well. Honestly, in my opinion, I think they can play better than they're playing now.
It's true, and
it's incredible.
That's what's so interesting is that we are in this run of form that's really good. The KC game notwithstanding, that we could even play better. The guys aren't even in their maximum form. Tito Villalba, has 1 goal. Barco's just getting started. Yeah, we're maybe a little reliant on our goal scorers of Joseph and Miguel Almiron right now. Yeah, like Joseph Martinez leads the league with 8.
Well, he's tied with Zardes, isn't he?
Yeah, he's tied with Zardes. But
fun fact about that: Joseph has equal or more goals than 2 teams. He has 8 goals, so do all of Philadelphia Union, and Seattle has 7.
That's
so
crazy. Wow.
That's where it is. And if you combine him and Miggy together, they have more goals than, like, I think 3/4 of the teams in MLS. It's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of like talks about, someone wrote an article on MLS about, how teams have been performing so far this season. They included expected goals and, expected goals against. I never really get that much into the technicalities of all that. He said that Atlanta had been playing B+ football at best. I would tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that this team has so much more, and that's the scary thing. And that's not me being an optimist, because I am not an eternal optimist. They have so much more they can do. They can be so much more clinical, and I've seen them be more clinical, especially in that run, towards the end of last season. They can score goals, and when this team finally gets firing on all cylinders, which I don't think it has, that's a scary prospect. And I mean, we kind of talked about it last week about with those 3 games in a short period of time. I'm pretty sure I went on, I'd take 5-7 points somewhere in there. Got 6. And honestly, really should have gotten 9.
Yeah.
And Tata seems to tend to agree with that.
Yeah, he told the press afterwards that, there's more points to be had, especially from that kind of missed opportunity against KC. But he said, it could have been 9 points in a week if the other game we had a little better officiating and if we had played 11 on 11. That is shots fired to Mark Geiger there for sure. He's definitely, he's not over it.
I don't think he's letting that one go anytime soon.
I mean, because, the offside is definitely, it's very divisive.
It's contentious at best.
No one knows, there's from all sides.
Genuinely, no one has any idea. And we've heard. I mean, there's been arguments for both sides everywhere. I don't know. I don't care. I'm honestly still happy about that. That you played a lot of games in a very 3 games in a very short period of time. Got 6 points. Got 2 wins on the road as your 6 points.
Yeah.
Not expected. But then I mean, you got another big game coming up this week against Red Bull, and all things considered, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going right now. I can't really complain too much.
So guys, don't forget our fundraiser for Soccer in the Streets and Clarkston FC. We've partnered with them, and their goal is $15,000 and our team goal is $2,500. And you can help by donating any amount because it's such a great cause. It's getting them 2 regionals that they definitely deserve. They've been undefeated this season. Man, they just need some hotel stay. They just need some, some shoes, some equipment to be able to play.
Genuinely, any bit helps. Just any little bit helps.
I just want to give a big shout out to our donators this week. Adam Mulligan, thank you so much for your generous donation. And also Shelby McCullough, you are awesome. Thank you so much. And it's really going to a great cause. And guys, Atlanta United 2 also had a match on Saturday, and it was an unfortunate loss again. They're not on a great run of form, but when we're taking players like Miles Robinson out of the 11, I mean, they're definitely going to be weakened a little bit. But they lost 2-0, but it wasn't a fantastic game. They tried to come back. It was pretty. They had a chance from Chris Goslin at the 45th minute, but the free kick didn't come off. But
hey, it wasn't a wasteful trip.
It wasn't.
They got Nando's.
Yeah, they got
a cheeky little Nando's.
But yeah, we also saw the first pro debut of Kevin Barajas, the dream tryout player, and that's I feel like all of us are living vicariously through him. Because,
yeah, keep going, man. Keep working hard. We want to see you in that team. We want to see you do well. Hell, I want to see you keep working hard and end up playing in the bins because that's a great story, and it's awesome to see that he's working so hard. So if for any reason he does happen to watch this, seriously, best of luck and keep working hard, man. We're all pulling for you.
And first of many.
Oh, yeah.
And guys, moving on to our news segment, Jeff Schultz of the AJC had a great article on Tata Martino. And it was Tata Martino kind of outlining his entire journey here. And it was a very great read. We'll put it in the description box below.
Absolutely. It's genuinely, it's a fantastic read, and it just makes me love Tata even more.
Exactly.
I mean, he's just such a great guy, and I think he's really embraced the city of Atlanta and how the fans here have embraced him.
Right. And he went on to mention in this article, I think my best quote that I saw in there. He essentially said, "It was the most well thought out decision I made in my career." And if that doesn't tell you that he really loves being here and that he wanted to come here, yeah, I mean,
that's coming from the guy that's managed the Argentine national team, Barcelona, Leo Messi, everywhere. I mean, anything you can think of. This guy is El Tata for a reason, and he's saying that the best decision of his career was coming to Atlanta.
Which
that makes me
sense.
feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside.
It makes sense to a degree because, Argentina, they have some very, very intense fans, and it becomes a little bit hostile if you're not always winning and you're not doing as well as they expect. So, it's a little quieter here, and that's probably what's really suiting him well. And, I think we're loving him here, so, may his reign continue, and hopefully he signs an extension past this year.
And one last parting thing about Tata. If you haven't seen it, as he finished his post-match interview, he calmly took his water bottle, saw the nearest bin, nailed the J, and walked away saying, "Lebron," or something like that, because he can't really pronounce them. Yeah. That was awesome.
He's a legend, man.
Genuinely,
oh my God,
I love Tata Martino. He is the absolute man.
And moving on to something that we saw in our great Atlanta United community on Reddit. It was from user Box Nemo. He mentioned that we apparently are ranking so high in jersey sales that we're top 10 internationally, and that of course that means we're top in MLS sales and jersey sales as well. We're just selling out merch all the time, as evident in that Parley sale that probably didn't come off the best, but still. It's there's a lot of demand, and it's good all the way around.
Yeah, can confirm. As a manager at said store, was not the one that he spoke to. I was away this weekend. However, yes, Atlanta United make a tremendous amount of MLS merchandise. In fact, 25% of all MLS merchandise sold is Atlanta United. So thank you to the fans. I certainly enjoy seeing you guys in the store. And the jersey part, yeah, that's the truth. There were no home jerseys, as many of you probably well know, between about August and December. So it was pretty tough. All we had was the grays, and now we're running out of King Peach because everyone's buying them because we keep winning in them, and everyone knows what happened with the parlay. So it's incredible how much this fan base loves this team. I mean, it's incredible how many people I see coming in and going, "I've never been a soccer fan. I've gone to an Atlanta United game. Now I'm a soccer fan, and I'm buying my first jersey." It's awesome, and then there's so many of you guys that come in and talk to me. That makes me feel great because it makes me feel like I'm doing something that people enjoy. And the amount of people that we just have coming into that store is incredible. And the amount of people from other countries coming in that have heard about Atlanta United and want to buy something and take it back is incredible. So those statistics don't shock me at all. Keep doing it, guys. Keep growing the brand. And hopefully we can keep bringing you guys some cool gear consistently. But I can't make any promises because it's above my head.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing to do with that, but it really does show that Atlanta United is pretty much keeping MLS like almost afloat at this point, where we're making up so much of the sales that it's what if we took that away? It's like very, very interesting.
What did they do before us? I mean, I don't even know. And guys, just another little quick update on the standings for next year's CONCACAF Champions League. Atlanta United, still top. And honestly, I think we should make ourselves comfortable with that and get used to the idea of playing in that competition, because I genuinely think that's a competition that Atlanta United has the potential to be a mainstay in. It can be tough, obviously, as we've seen what it's done to Toronto, but they don't have our front office. And our front office is absolutely brilliant. And that can be demonstrated by the fact that Atlanta United is 9th in total player salaries for this coming season. Best team in the league, 9th in salaries. And there are some teams above Atlanta United that aren't very good.
Like the Impact, terrible.
Woof, Galaxy, woof. Right now, Toronto, their top 2 players make more than pretty much their top 2 players actually, fun fact, make more than the entire Atlanta United team by itself.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, I mean, the Atlanta United doesn't have a player on the top paid players list until 12. And that's going to change more than likely in the summer when other teams bring in players. I don't think Zlatan, well, actually, Zlatan doesn't even make that much, surprisingly.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, because he's a TAM player.
He's just making money off everything else, putting Z in front of it.
Yeah, Rooney, the rumor with him to DC United, he apparently is going to make a buku, but if he's actually coming, I don't,
who knows. I think that's a stupid move, by the way, but I don't like talking about DC because I hate them. Unlike you, Orlando, who I don't even care that you exist. But, I mean, I think just to go back to it, it's really incredible to see what this front office has done with the money that it's spent, and the idea that Atlanta United has bought the success is kind of stupid, really misinformed when you look at the amount that they've invested. So, obviously you have players like Barco where you spend MLS, record fees on, but his wages, not that high because he's a young designated player. So it's really impressive how they've done this, and they're not even the top spending team in the league.
Moving on into the standings, we are still top in the East, and we've increased our lead to 4 points.
And doesn't it feel so good to say that? But and also in the Supporters Shield standings, we've increased our lead now over KC. And
despite that loss. So, I mean, they've played one game. Well, actually, no, they played the same amount of games. So it doesn't even matter. What's really interesting is how Atlanta United 8-1-2 throughout their first 11 games. Obviously, they've been playing really well on the road. We talked about that earlier in the points per game. But they have a pretty decent lead. I mean, if you look at the standings, they've played one game less than Columbus, who they're already 4 points ahead of. They've played 2 more games than Red Bull, but that game's going to get played this weekend. And Red Bull, I have to say, probably quietly one of the best teams in the league. So, obviously we'll break that down in our match preview later this week, but that's a really big game. If Atlanta can win the game in the bins this weekend, they're going to go clear from at least from Columbus by, what, 7 points? By NYCFC, 7 points? I mean, that's a big gap for only having played 12 games so far. And again, for the team not even playing its best football. So that's really, really scary to think about, but a really big game this weekend, guys. So I'm nervous, but again, we'll dig into that later this week. And guys, to get into our question of the day, it's pretty simple. How trash is Orlando? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. The real question of the day this week, with Atlanta United having played 11 games, and genuinely, this is something that I want to hear you guys talk about, because they've written some articles about being a third of the way through the season. Atlanta United, third of the way through the season. How do you guys think they performed? Have they overperformed? Have they underperformed? Or are they right about where you expected? For me, I actually think they've kind of underperformed. I think they can play a whole lot better than they have. But let us know what you guys think. Get down in the comments below, and we'll look forward to reading them.
So guys, that's it. That's the show. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, smash a like, and share this video because it really does help us a lot. And for Tanner McLeod, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching.